By July of 1994, the American people had experienced, in back to back weeks, two separate but equally important vehicular incidents that would set the American cultural zeitgeist ablaze and change the course of popular, sports, and judicial history. Both involved jealous marriages rife with adultery, betrayal, and intrigue. Both involved the titillating possibility, if not probability, of dirty, dirty cops. Both, unfortunately, involved death, mayhem, and national tragedy. But both, luckily, created videos we can use as reference points, not only to a place in time, but a place in our lives. Not only where you were, but who you were on those fateful American days. That they happened back to back? Is it fate? Is it happenstance? Or is it simply a coincidence? An expected occurrence in an eternal scope of possibilities while we float on this blue marble 2 spaces removed from a dying star? By the time Orenthal James Simpson stopped that white Bronco, gave his hair samples, and was officially arrested, one Joe Logan Diffie was setting the charts ablaze with a song so intriguing, so in depth, so quintessentially 90s country that I sometimes find it harder to believe that it exists than I do the outcome of OJ's trial. Third Rock from the Sun is arguably the greatest country story song of all time and is undoubtedly the best music video in the genre by a country mile. In fact, before we get started, go take a second and watch it and come back to us, because today on Bubba Shot the Podcast, we are doing Joe Diffie's masterpiece, Third Rock from the Sun. Thank you for joining us.
Bubba Shot the Podcast, and that's right, a show about country at its height. Don't expect no shit from 2005. Bubba Shot the Podcast, and that's right.
Yeah, I was going to say, we just, ladies and gentlemen, we just watched the video for Third Rock for the Sun, and so it's a time capsule. I mean, if I didn't know, if I didn't know this song, didn't know anything about it, and somebody said, what year was this song came out, and they gave me 3 still pictures, any picture from that music video, I would have been able to know that it was between 92 and 97. No doubt.
But not if it was the sheriff.
Or
Maybe.
I completely agree with you, but like, were they not going for some kind of period
Noir
piece aesthetic
Yeah,
in
noir.
that Joe Diffie video? Because
Yeah.
the teenagers that show up, they're James Dean, like,
But I
looking
still would have known.
teenagers, and that's like why we didn't. Teenagers, my older cousin BJ did not look like that in
Yeah,
95.
They
or
were going
whatever,
for noir.
right? So they were like doing a thing.
But I
like
could still tell that it was people
90s
going for
version of
noir
that.
in the
Yeah.
90s. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I could still, I understand the nuances.
Fair enough.
I sent Tushar the video, so we'll have plenty of time to talk about the video, because I think this video is art separate from, but also with the song. Let's just focus on the song for now. Guys, we're talking about a Shakespearean level of craftsmanship. We're talking about one of my favorite songs. We're talking about Third Rock from the Sun by Joe Diffie. I'm trying to pull it up because I had it. 1994 in July. It was a summer track. And
Of course it was.
Third #1 single on the Hot Country and Singles chart. So
Was it written by our man?
no. We'll get into that, because there's a really great thing about one of the songwriters that I cannot wait to talk about with y'all. But first, let's just talk about the song. So we open up at this bar, and old girl's walking in one hip at a time. And I know I already said let's talk about the video later. Well, but one way the video really, to me, whoever directed that video missed some. I'm curious your thoughts on that. In the video, the girl walks in and the sheriff calls his wife, but then she rejects him. It's just like he's just like calls her as soon as he sees the hot girl and is like, "I'm not coming home."
Right.
But he
You're
definitely
beating
was,
off in this bathroom of this bar.
right.
Don't wait up, honey. I got some beating off to do.
He's definitely fucking her, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way the song makes it sound, but you're pointing
That's the
out that-
implication.
you're pointing out that she rejects him in the video, like
I don't
turns
buy
him
that.
away. Yeah, okay.
That's what. Yeah, is what I'm arguing. I don't buy that she rejects him. I think I think that the implication there,
Yeah.
reading between the lines, is she walked in, some stuff happened that we can't talk about on country radio. And
They
then
yada
he called.
yada it. They yada yada the fucking.
Well, he ain't fucked her yet, right? He's
Right,
wants
right.
to. He wants to, and it's funny because like it's just how confident and self assured this man is. Like a hot woman walks into a bar, he immediately.
Well, he's the
goes to-
sheriff.
Right. The song doesn't say that though. For the record,
That's true.
Well,
We're conflating a lot of the stuff with the video here. The song, you don't know who the guy is. It's just a hot woman walks into a bar, and then a guy sees a hot woman, goes to the payphones like, "Hey Sheila, I ain't gonna be there tonight."
Yeah.
But hold
Deal
on, it
with
is the sheriff. You don't know that yet, but it's absolutely the sheriff.
In the song up until this point, unless we were watching the video, we wouldn't have known.
You
up
wouldn't
until-
know that, but it still
Right.
is the sheriff with
Right.
that attitude. But my argument, Trey, is not that he's already having sex with her. I'm saying that he's already, in my opinion, he's already getting somewhere. That's my take on this opening stanza. She walks into the down into Smokies, one hip at a time, like a broken field runner slipping through the line. When he calls his wife, either he knows her, or in my opinion, he like some things have passed between them, and now he knows he's getting somewhere. But it's possible that what you're saying is true. This man just believes in himself that much.
No,
Is-
I think you're right. Actually, probably It's
Is the
probably
line one
I think
hip at a
fucking-
time?
one hip at a time? She
That's
walks
so
into the smoke,
fucking-
it's one
No,
hip
no,
at a
I
time.
get it. That's just so fucking good, man. Like that, I put that up there with expressions such as "she's got." This is one of my favorite. I'm sure y'all know it. She's got legs that go all the way up, and make an ass out of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of them old boy sayings about a woman's legs that just they don't make them like that no more. It just it's a hits for me.
Is it a saying? I guess I assumed it
Well,
was.
I mean, I'm hearing it now for the first. Like I'm just now realizing that, but like that's about to be a saying for me. She walked in here one hip at a time. That's fucking awesome.
I could see a woman, like a Christian woman, saying it about a floozy. Came in here walking with them shorts on, one hip at a time.
Dude, it's funny you say that because like as terrible as men are and as misogynistic as men are and we are, no one on earth dogs a woman more than a Southern woman who she don't hit for. You know what I mean? Like if a girl down here, if a church girl down here knows of a girl who's had sex with one other person aside from her husband, whoo, Lord, they're about to get ready to rise.
Mama, dude, Mama, when I was talking to Mama on the phone yesterday. She was talking about Uncle Tim having a run in with, an anti-masker at the grocery store, whatever, which is every goddamn day apparently. But like, I ain't gonna say that. Let me make up a name real quick. Whatever she said a real name. She's like, yes, he was down there at the Family Dollar, and that old
Hussy.
Kathy McGee, whatever. It's like walked up to him wearing some pink sweatsuit, whatever. And she's like, her. And normally Meemaw's like, you remember her? I'm always like, Meemaw, no, I have no fucking clue who that person is usually. But I actually do know this woman because she was always running around town and all that shit. But Meemaw was like, oh, Kathy McGee, you remember her? And I was like, yeah. Meemaw, I go, yeah, she's a whore. And I was like, and I started cracking up laughing, and she was just like, "What? No, she is. She's a whore, Trey. Town whore. Everybody knows it. Whatever."
The hard R on the whore.
Yeah,
The town bicycle, everyone gets to ride. Remember that
Yeah,
one?
or the town pump, either one. Goddamn.
I think that's a saying. Maybe I think it was. In my head it was, but maybe they invented it. Maybe they invented that turn of phrase. It's the image is there. I want to move on to we can go back to it. Calling her sister up before we move on to the second stanza. Let's talk about the setup of the second stanza. Calls her sister up and cries, "Get over here." Now, my mama had 6 sisters and my dad had 3. I grew up around, and I had so many female cousins. I grew up around Southern women. That line is so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as soon as she got on the phone, she knew exactly what her man was doing and why he wasn't coming home. And she just calls her sister and says, "Get over here," and hangs up again and just waits on her. That's such a 1990s thing to do.
It also brings me back, like it puts you in the frame of mind of like what a relic of like if you need to get a hold of someone back in that day, you've got to use the establishment's phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like how much this dudes back then could finagle in such anonymity because like there was never a cell phone check-in. You know what I mean? Like the woman couldn't get a hold of him at all the time. You could always be like, oh, some bullshit came up and I would have called you, but like there wasn't a payphone. Like it reminds me of when my dad's dad died. The way that my mom was able to get a hold of him is because she knew he was at Chili's because he went to Chili's every Monday with his boys. So they just she just called Chili's and there he was. But like that's almost like hearing
Chili's.
that. Yeah,
I mean,
hearing
I
that
was
in
going to
this
say
song.
that's what they used to do, right? Like,
No, I
people
know.
used to,
No,
like, call-
it is.
They would just call the business phone.
Call the bar,
and
yeah.
be like, hey, Robbie in there?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
the
and it's-
mayor, the mayor does that at the end.
No, I know. No, I know. It's like it's so
Use your
wild.
head, boys.
It's so wild to think about, but back then, like people did just always know where you were because that was important to be knowing that shit.
Yeah, man. When I was when I studied abroad, I didn't have a cell phone, and all my American friends got one because they're used to having them, and I loved it because even when they had made different plans from the plan we made the day before, somebody had to meet me where they said they were going to meet me to tell me in person that the plans had changed. But then I would be like, well, we're already here. Let's just go to the bar and get hammered.
Right.
Just me and you. So me and Kenny would get drunk when everybody else had canceled plans. It ruled.
Yeah, that's great. And that's another thing too, that I've told this to people, younger people, and they just like, I guess flat out didn't believe me, that like most people in my grade didn't take to cell phones. Like it was not a thing that hit for us because whenever we got our cell phones, literally like we always could talk to each other. We was in class with each other. All it meant was like now that our mama could check in on us and like that didn't hit for us because there was no more like there was no more just being able to fucking go do whatever you want and be like, I don't know what to tell you. It's like, no, you could have checked in. So like the sheriff's, a relic of another time.
Well, it's like so many great pieces of art. If this happened during the cell phone age, this song would be 20 seconds long and not hit as hard.
Right.
Let's go to the second stanza because I've always had some confusion about this. And I think I just kind of came up with a theory, imagining how y'all telling me I was dumb. But if I'm honest, so the second stanza is sister's going, tells her boyfriend, I'll be back in a while. He wants a beer. The store's just a mile. Now, the whole thesis of this song is that one event can lead to all this chaos and craziness. But to me, the chain's a little weak here because I don't understand. The boyfriend going to the store seems unrelated to the other events. Or is it that since the sister's gone for the night, now he's decided he's going to get drunk?
Yeah, I think it's that. I didn't know that's what you were, but at first, so yes, right. We are in agreement. That's what this song is about. It's like Joe Diffie singing about the butterfly effect, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's just
The gutterfly.
one thing leads to
That's
another,
hilarious.
basically. And but yeah, so the sheriff sees a woman, calls his wife. Wife starts crying. Wife calls her sister. Get over here. Now the sister's out of the house. The sister's boyfriend's like, shit, I'm gonna get lit. He goes to the gas station. Leaves his car running. Because he leaves it running, some ne'er-do-wells, some teenagers in there loitering, am I right? Loitering in the parking lot. See this guy leave his car running, and so they decide to steal it, and they drive off in it. And
he wouldn't have been there. I guess the point is he wouldn't have been there getting that beer in the first place had his wife his woman not left for the evening, making him think, well, goddamn, I guess I better get my drunk on.
Yeah.
Every decision we make, my friends, makes a huge difference.
Now, the line, they scream into the night, let's get it over. The driver tells his buddies, got one life to live. They scream into the night, let's get it over with. Even as a young man, that struck me as they're trying to die?
Yes,
let's get their life over with?
Yes, but, and I'm not just saying this, because I can remember, this was the line that stuck out to me the most in this whole song, because this song came out when we were kids. We were like, what year did you say? 94?
94.
So I was fucking 8 years old when this song came out. I can 10. Remember hearing
50.
This song and hearing what he said.
I said I was 10.
He said Mark was 50.
He's not even on this podcast.
Mark wrote this song. This is his first. This is his first co-write.
But I can remember that line was the line that stuck out to me. I remember him saying like, teenagers said, got one life to live. They scream into the night, let's get it over with. And I remember as 8 years old, I was like, they're going out to try to die or whatever. And I remember still in my head thinking like, man, that's fucking cool. Like, that's wild.
Yeah.
Like it just like I was like, they don't give a fuck, man.
Yeah.
Teenagers, they just don't care. They're wild, which like, I think that is the literal point of the lyric in the song.
For
like,
sure.
That's what he's getting at is teenager, fuck the world. We're going to live forever or die tonight. Who gives a shit? That's how
either way.
teenagers be.
And then, all right, so then we've got the
but
first chorus, which I'm going to do real quick, and then we're going to let Tushar in. And this is why we say it's a butterfly effect song. Cause and effect, chain of events, all of the chaos makes perfect sense. When you're spinning around, things come undone. Welcome to Earth, third rock from the sun, and welcome to Bubba Shot the podcast. Tushar. That would have been a lot smoother if I'd already hit the button and we weren't now waiting on him.
Just clip it. It'll be fine.
The Indian outlaw himself, ladies and gentlemen, Tushar.
Bow, bow, bow.
Oh shit,
Bow,
he
bow,
looks
bow.
like Tim McGraw with that sweet Van Dyke he's got going. That's
Yeah.
rad.
Looking good, Tush. What's up,
What's
buddy?
up, guys?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
Go dogs.
Go dogs.
Tushar, catching you up. We just got to. We're just going through the lyrics and we haven't finished yet, and we just got to pass the first chorus. So we're in the third stanza in the second verse.
Carry on, gentlemen.
All right. So the kid's gunning the gas, the car's swerving. I mean, you guys, we all know where this is going. We were just talking about Tushar. The kid's screaming tonight, let's get it over with. It seems like they're going out to die.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go out like that and you steal a car, this is what happens. Kid guns the gas, car starts to swerve, heading for a semi-truck. It jumps the curve. The truck, trying to get out of the way, hits a big boy in the Shoney's parking lot, and it flies through the air and it takes out the bank clock, and the clock strikes a light pole, and the transformers spark, and the lines go down, and the town goes dark. Now, I didn't, growing up, Trey, you were just talking about your thoughts at 8. I can remember at 10.
You didn't know what Big Boy was.
I had to ask Mom and Dad,
Uh-huh.
did they just run over a fat guy in the parking lot? I really thought that's what it meant. I thought.
Me too.
I thought Baby Huey, Uncle Mark's friend, he's a trucker, he always eats at Shoney's. Somebody like that, every town's got one, and he got run over at the Shoney's. I really thought that.
I thought the same thing too, because I didn't know till I was an adult the relationship between Big Boy and Shoney's, because like when I was a kid, they were separated. Like to me, the only Shoney's mascot I ever knew as a kid was that goddamn bear, that bear in the overalls or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's all I knew, Shoney's breakfast. So like I had no idea. And then like one day it clicked, and literally the first day that I heard that Shoney and Big Boys was a thing, this song came immediately back to me, and I was like, oh shit, that's what that was.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm sure whoever I was around looked at me really weird for having this.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You didn't know?
No, I both did and didn't know, because like for whatever reason, I'm just now thinking about this for the first time because it doesn't make sense what I apparently thought happened. But my dad had like when he was younger, he had like an old piggy bank for and it was a big boy, like a big boy
Hold
piggy
that
bank
shit up.
that Meemod had, and they gave to me like when I was like a baby, like too young to even remember getting it. And it was like sitting in my room, and that was my piggy bank, was a big boy for no reason. I mean, I was a fat kid, but they weren't making that joke because they didn't know yet because I was still a baby. But anyway, maybe they did. They were like, he's going to be a big boy. Anyway, I had
Which one of your relatives stole it?
Yeah. My mom hawked it at some point later on, sure. But because of that being in my room, I knew what Big Boy was.
Yeah.
However, I did not know, I don't think until this very moment, that it was also, so Shoney's Big Boy was the same thing.
Yeah.
And the
It's like
franchise
Carl's
is
Jr. and
split?
Hardee's.
Oh, they didn't even split. It's like, in one part of the country called Shoney's, and another part they're called Big Boy or something.
think
like that.
so.
No, I think maybe that's the case now, but I think that the name of the restaurant was Shoney's Big Boy.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you know how like Jack Daniels is an apostrophe S, but nobody really thinks about that?
Well,
Shoney's
here's
is
why
an
I'm dumb is like, I knew what Big Boy was, and I knew it was like restaurant related. And obviously he says in the Shoney's parking lot, but I didn't know they were related. So it's like, I guess I thought like oh, the big boy, he just be in restaurant parking lots.
He's just
or
hitting.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just hitting. He's just
standing
hitting at the Shoney's there. He's like a seal of approval.
Why wouldn't the big boy want to go to
Michelin
Shoney's?
stars?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, like the Michelin star. He's like, yeah, they just got their big
That's
boy
the JD
certification.
power of restaurants.
Right, the big boy. I guess I thought something like that because, yeah, I did not know they were related. But I knew when they said big boy, I knew what he meant. So I knew what big boy was, but didn't know they were related, but never questioned that he would
That's
be in
dumber,
the
I
Shoney's parking
think.
lot. Yeah, I know, right? Makes no sense.
Also, let's
Like,
not
sorry,
sleep on the.
lyrics.
Oh, sorry, too short. We can't hear you, buddy. Get close to the mic.
Yeah, or turn your mic up a little bit or get closer
hear
to
me?
it.
Is that
We
better?
can
No.
hear you, but you're like really, really low.
All right, carry on. I think my mic's fucked up.
It's not all.
You may have your computer mic plugged in instead of your regular mic. So you
Also,
work
your
on
mic
that.
isn't facing your face, I believe. I think
You know what?
got the same kind of mic.
Too
I do.
Short
You're
does
not
this
talking
on
in-
purpose because he's trying to single-handedly undo Indian stereotypes.
I was
as
about to
far as
say,
technology.
if only there was a type of person that really could help us out.
No, he's literally trying to do that. Well, what I was
Yeah,
going to say,
call myself.
you guys couldn't hear him, but what he said was, "Let me call myself." Well, I'll talk about this next stanza while you try to figure that out, brother. Taking out the bank clock, causing transformers to spark, and the town going dark. That might still go on in small towns. I haven't lived in one really in a long time, but that feels very much like something that happened in my childhood. It fucking snowed, a tree fell down, and now everybody, the next 4 neighborhoods ain't got power for 2 fucking days.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I would imagine. I bet in Salina that still happens. Because, you know, when I was first getting out of high school, going into college, my summer job for 2 summers working for the Clay County Highway Department, and that was a big thing. Was like having to cut trees out of the road, like when it would storm and trees would fall, and like if they landed on something, some wires or some shit, it would fuck the power up, and it would take a while.
For a while.
we didn't-
Yeah.
no, that's what I'm saying. It took because, like, you know, we don't hit or anything
Right.
in Salina, so you need people that hit to fix that. So, you know, you just be shit out of luck for a while. And I'd be surprised if it's any different now, like if that same thing happens. Now, we didn't have a bank clock, though. I think of a bank clock as like I think like Back to the Future.
Back to
type
the Marty.
shit.
Yeah, I was about to say that big ass thing.
Right,
Wartburg,
like it
Wartburg
feels
had
like
a
a-
bank clock.
Really? Okay. Because to me, it feels like a, you know, 50 small town America relic type of thing.
Oh, I
The
completely
bank-
agree.
The bank clock.
Did y'all have a clock like a what am I trying to say? Did y'all have a bell that went off every hour?
Mm-mm.
No.
We did. It didn't hit.
Well, hold on. I just realized something. Now I know why the video's noir, which we'll get into. Hopefully, Too Short, you got a chance to check it out. This whole song is set in that time period.
See, I think
Because-
that maybe it is right.
Yeah, because
at least the video.
Big
is,
Boy
why
and
would they have done that with the
Shoney's
video?
was already split
Right.
up.
It is, but that's weird, right? I agree with you. That's what like
That is
up
weird.
top we were talking about. Like, I think it's a period piece. I think,
But
the
they
whole
don't
thing
ever
is
say
supposed-
it.
But I know. So like, why? Like, why is the whole thing set in the 50s? Which I believe that it is. Like, I think we're in agreement. I think it is set in the 50s for some reason. Is it like that's when, you know, Americana like became part of the, like, really crystallized?
The
You
only,
know what I mean?
other theory
Small
I
town
have,
America.
the only other theory I can come up with is that hitting a big boy in the Shoney's parking lot was such a great image that they just
Rode around it.
is like, fuck it. It's now set in that time period or whatever, you know? Too Short, you back?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
We did it!
Yes.
I
Sorry, I'm not allowed to do it.
I love the specificity of Big Boy. I didn't know if there was some kind of deeper, like this is the Waffle House, you know, like that connection. But I did realize I was like, that is such a visual storytelling thing. You know exactly where the hell he is. He's hitting this big ass thing. Even if you're not watching the video, which does it even show it? I don't remember. Does it actually show the hitting of the big boy?
No, they didn't have the budget.
Now,
for
a
that.
real missed opportunity there, but yeah, as Drew said, they didn't have the budget or the licensing or something like that.
That's right.
Joe
That's right.
Diffie, rest in peace. He just come out. He didn't have Billy Bob Loves Charlene money yet.
Right.
Sure.
He's Too Short. Yeah, I get that reference. Go on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, you're right.
All right. So waitress calls the cops. She says she saw it all. Swears a giant alien landed at the mall. Even when I was 10, that reminded me of my cousin Amanda and her mom, Aunt Barb. I was like, that is some Aunt Barb, cousin Amanda shit. Get the police on the phone. There's a giant alien landed at the mall.
Right.
Cop rings up the mayor, says there's panic in the streets. We hate to wake you up, but we can't find the chief. Best part of the song, in my opinion. Some people may say this is a cheap trick, but I don't care. It's like a callback or something. I love it. Mayor says, use your head. If he ain't in his car, he's hiding from his wife down at Smokey's bar. Tushar, the man who started this was the sheriff the whole time.
Yes. Corrupt. This story is about corrupt cops.
Yeah.
As they are. Why do you think
corrupt cops?
Why do you think it's cheap, Drew? Why do you think it's a cheap trick? Maybe.
I don't think it is, but I think that it's like a callback. Like some people, it's like, oh, it's a secret you hidden. It's like, no, that's rad.
Well,
I think.
Yeah. Well, number one, those people, they weren't gonna get down with this shit.
They're not down with Diffy.
No, they weren't gonna get down with this shit anyways. But like, no, I think that to me is what makes the song so great. Like that, like, ain't that just the way it is? The thing that you need to help was the fucking cause of it the whole time anyways, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the South, baby.
Welcome to small town America, especially in the 50s. Tushar.
So, because we're at this point here, real quick, before we go to Tushar, because every other episode I've done this, and I never plan on doing it. I just end up doing it because it always is.
Have you looked up the songwriter?
Yeah, well, hang on. I've always read the Wikipedia synopsis of the song.
Yeah.
And this one is much, much longer, but I still think that it hits. Just keep in mind, this is a Joe Diffy song. So yeah, it's a little bit longer, but it won't take too long. All right. This is what it says. An elaborate story begins in a small town with a woman entering a bar, quote, one hip at a time, parentheses, suggesting her attractiveness. An initially unidentified married man decides to make advances on her and phones his wife at home to inform her that he is, parentheses, falsely working late. Instantly suspecting that he is cheating on her, the jilted wife phones her sister to ask for emotional support. The sister's boyfriend then departs to a nearby convenience store for some alcoholic beverages, but leaves his vehicle running while making his purchases. This, in turn, leads to several teenagers stealing his car and going on a joyride that culminates in a spectacular crash that causes a power outage to the entire town and appears to an observing waitress to be a UFO. The story comes full circle when town officials cannot locate the police chief, who is revealed to be the man at the bar whose attempted adultery triggered the chain of events in the first place. The moral of the story is that, as stated in the chorus, quote, when Earth is spinning round, things come undone. Welcome to Earth, third rock from the sun. And I don't know if that's the moral of the story, but them stating the moral of the story by just listing the lyrics from the song. But it always hits me, these novelty country songs, reading
broken down
in a Wikipedia style,
yeah.
It's just very matter of factly and whatever.
The moral of the story is don't be a whore. You know what I mean? That's literally if there wasn't a whore, then none of this would have happened.
Or don't be whoring.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think she just walked into a bar, Corey.
I meant the guy. By the way, men can be whores.
Well,
don't be. I should have said philanderer.
You might be right, because let's now. We'll get into the video because that's fun. But let me tell y'all one thing about this songwriter that has blown my mind. There are 3 listed songwriters. The only one with a Wikipedia page. I looked up the other ones, and they're good songwriters, but there was nothing necessarily super special about them. The only one with a Wikipedia page is Tony Martin. Tony Martin has 15 #1 hits as a songwriter, including Third Rock from the Sun, Just to See You Smile by Tim McGraw, You Look Good in My Shirt. He received his bachelor's degree from Brigham Young University in 1986. He had an
Mormon?
He had an emphasis in journalism, and he worked for the Daily Journal in Chicago. This is a Chicago journalist and Mormon.
Wow.
He moved to Nashville to work at the Tennessean because his song Baby's Gotten Good at Goodbye was recorded by George Strait in 88. Because he just was writing songs as a Mormon. George Strait picked one up almost immediately, and then he's like, I guess I'll move to Nashville.
Actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about that, maybe listening to this song and thinking about this song, it does sound like a really talented outsider's perspective on what this, you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
cause it's so over the top, but in my mind, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, hits. But it's like, this does kind of sound like what a Chicago Mormon would write write a country music song about.
and I think that the big boy and the aliens landed at the mall, all those
Yeah.
details that you couldn't get as an outsider, I think that's where he leaned on Whipple and Glenn Martin.
Sure. Yeah, that
Wait.
actually makes sense.
Greenbaum was the other. Glenn
Greenbaum.
Martin is that guy's dad.
That
Who
guy's
also
dad.
was a connected Nashville songwriter. So a little bit of nepotism going on, but I assume he was a Mormon too, unless he just married a Mormon. Tushar.
Don't hit.
Damn. We ain't said
Tushar.
shit to you. What's up? What do you
What's
think?
up? I mean, I fucking loved it. I'm liking country music more and more. I love
It hits.
It's working, gentlemen. It's working. Whatever you're doing. Because I usually listen to these type of songs, the whole genre of country music, and kind of in my head, since I don't know it that well, just bucket it all as the same. And this one is, when I listened to it, it was clearly, I just knew this from growing up here, but I was like, this is honky tonk.
Hell yeah.
And it's different than the other songs that we've listened to, which, by the way, YouTube has really picked up on my weeklies. The algorithm is working. So I'm always getting these things. But like, Joe Diffy, and it looks like, I've never met Drew's dad, but it looks like what Drew's dad would look like.
Yeah, once upon a time. I'll go get a picture in a moment. I think it's
You
on
saying
the
Joe
list.
Diffie looks like what Drew's dad would look like?
Yeah, in my head.
Joe Diffie looks like one of my aunts, actually.
Yeah, his mustache ain't big enough, but it's close.
Yeah, you know the aunt that smoked 4 packs of cigarettes at Christmas and brought a Jell-O salad?
I gotta say, in looking over the Wikipedia, I'd forgotten about this. Cletus T. Judd had a parody of this song, and it was called "Third Rock from Her Thumb," in reference to a wedding ring.
Yeah,
And
ain't bad.
that's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, Cletus can be hokey, but that's fucking good.
Yeah, that's good. Shout out to my man Barry Poole.
Yeah. Okay. Can we talk about the video?
Sure, and I think this is relevant enough because Tushar talking about what Joe Diffie looks like, and obviously in the video you see him in all his glory. Are there any like mainstream country guys especially right now, who can rival the Diff and aesthetics? Like they don't,
No,
they're
Morgan
pretty
Wallen.
boys now, and
Yeah.
everybody knows it. Are there any left that are popular that were that look like somebody's fucking aunt? Like
No,
got this
Morgan-
old boy
Hell
look?
no.
Morgan Wallen is definitely a heartthrob, but he is from Union County, Tennessee, and has a mullet and like wears cut off t-shirts. He's the industry's answer to anti-pretty boy, and he's got a mullet, but he's definitely not chubby. Like he's real good looking.
Yeah.
He looks
right.
like Joe Diffie's friend who finishes the fights Joe Diffie starts.
Mm.
Is there anyone, to that question, is there anyone who rivals? Did he write this?
No.
No. That Mormon Chicagoan did.
Yeah, and I think you're saying, does anybody write anything like this? Brad
Or does
Paisley's-
anyone? Yeah, who's the modern equivalent to this guy?
Brad Paisley writes some goofy stuff, and Blake Shelton writes a lot of sort of lighthearted stuff. But I think
There's a guy named Paul Thorne, but he's also not mainstream. I think he may have got. He wrote the most mainstream song I know that he's gotten out there is he wrote 800-Pound Jesus for Sawyer Brown, and he's constantly writing stuff like this. But yeah, mainstream wise, it's kind of all just like either super sad and serious love songs or like get in my truck, put
Right.
your jeans on, baby.
we like beer. There is a guy who went viral and is getting some play for a song about his old lady cheating on him.
Yeah,
And it's like, she's
yeah.
getting dick down in Dallas.
Oh, it's a hit?
That song does.
Pretty
You ain't
funny.
heard it, Joe?
No.
I thought we had group text about it at some point.
You may
Yeah,
have it. I missed
does.
it.
Yeah, dick down in Dallas. And it's
That
about
hits.
His old lady cheating on him, and it's in this style, and it's pretty good. Which I want to say, Tushar, have we ever introduced you to? Are you aware of an artiste by the name of Wheeler Walker Jr.?
I think I've heard you guys talk about.
Oh, that
Probably.
be
We
your
talk
shit.
about him a lot because he fucking rules and we love him. You definitely need to check out Old Whaler.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, especially now that
does.
you've gotten the baseline
Right.
to understand
Right.
where the
You have a
jokes
frame
are
of
launched
reference kind of now, a little
It's
bit.
great.
Yeah. Phenomenal.
You know all that racist David Allen Coe stuff that you love, that you think we listen to, we don't. It's the same level of funny as that, minus the racism stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
where's the fun in that?
There's some sexism. There's some sexism. And a
Oh,
little bit
dude,
of
yeah, there's
little
a
bit
great amount of
homophobia,
sexism.
If that helps you.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this music video. It was directed by a gentleman named Roger Pistole or Pistole.
Ah, Pistoli, yeah.
It says that the title's ripped off of Jimi Hendrix, but that it's somewhere between Smokey and the Bandit and Back to the Future. That's what the video's going for. I think that's pretty. I think they came close to that.
Well, you nailed Back to the Future on that bank clock, but yeah, I would say more like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like I don't see. It's more like Chinatown for a minute, you know.
Yeah,
It's so funny you say that because Drew didn't say, but I'm looking at the same place where he's looking. That's from a unfavorable review
Oh,
of
my
the
bad.
song in Billboard magazine, and Deborah Evans Price, the music critic, that's what she said. She
Oh, my
said,
bad.
"quote Her twisted plot falls somewhere between Smokey and the Bandit and Back to the Future." So like the song don't hit for her, and that's what she said. You told Corey that without even knowing the context, and he was like, "To me, it's more of a Chinatown." Oh, it's good.
I love the video. It's bad like all 90s videos, but there's a real weird comedy element to it. Like the sheriff is very boss hoggy.
Absolutely.
The wife has her hair up in rollers and a face mask on, and she at one point
Yeah.
puts the
Bathrobe.
phone like over her head again, as if she's in a 40s slapstick comedy.
Right. Yeah, she reminded me of Miss Lipsky in The Mask, his landlady or whatever. Like
Yeah.
very much the stereotypical, just distraught woman who just wants to have her red wine in the tub and be left the fuck alone.
But she wants her husband not to cheat on her too. Tushar, any thoughts on the video?
I mean, the video seemed higher budget than a lot of the other ones we've watched. Whatever that's worth. There was a green screen action. He was on a globe at one point.
Yes, he was.
That
standing on
shit
the
was
globe.
great.
Yeah.
In a field.
Just picturing them shoot that whenever the hell they did in whatever town, it seems hilarious.
So, on that note, like, I feel like there's a thing with them types of fellers, those types of musicians, where it's like, really all Diffie is ever doing at any point in the video is just kind of standing there, like singing, right?
Yeah.
Like he ain't busting no moves or he's just sort of
He's just
standing
hitting.
static with a guitar strapped around him, just singing. And I think the directors and the label and whoever else had to find ways to jazz it up a little. You know what I mean?
right.
They're like, well, it's called Third Rock from the Sun. Maybe you think he could stand on a globe? Can we get Diffie up on a globe? And then
That's
he's
always-
still
but
just
in a
standing on the
field.
globe in the
Yeah.
same way. that
That's
he was
always
standing
cracked me
everywhere
up.
else.
Whenever there's a music video that's because some music videos are just the band singing, and that's fine. But like when it's like a high concept music video, but then they always have to cut back to just the singer just in a barn playing the guitar. It's like, why do you even why not have Joe Diffie play the sheriff? That would hit so
See,
much
I
harder.
think it's
that would've
'cause-
ruled.
I think it's because they can't. The ones who end up doing that, the musicians end up doing that in their videos. I think it's because they can't really do anything else.
Right.
In turn, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
he
And they
can't
have to
pull-
be there.
He can't pull that off, but they have to be there. So they just have him just sing the song. And like you said, they cut back and forth to it. And yes, I've always found that funny too. It's very much a trope in music videos. And I remember there's a Billy Joel song, one of his huge ones, but I can't remember which one it is, but one of Billy Joel's biggest hits. And in the video, a lot of people are. Yes, Mr. Butt. That was a
Lord.
solid contribution
That's
from
Mr.
Butt right there.
Butt.
God
Coming in.
damn.
Man, that's
was-
that's the fucking gas from the
I was
sun.
watching a pop-up video, and it was that Billy Joel song, and there's all these dancers, background dancers and stuff
Yeah.
in the video or whatever. And it said, a little fun fact, Billy Joel couldn't do none of that shit.
Yeah.
So they put him up. They had him standing on a like movable trolley.
Hilarious.
And they were just sort of like wheeling him in and out of this dance formation. While all these people dance around him and stuff. And that's what the solution they came up with.
Somebody got a union rate for that.
You remember when 2 Chainz broke his leg, but he still did the show?
Yeah.
And they had him choreograph, and he's in a wheelchair, and they had the choreographer move him in the wheelchair to the beat and shit like that.
Yeah, but that's rad. All right.
No, of course that's right. I mean, I think the Billy Joel thing's rad too. It's just different.
Tushar and everyone who's watching on the YouTube. There's Joe Diffy over my shoulder. There's Doug Morgan.
Dude, that looks just like you right there. That's fucking crazy how much y'all look alike.
Yeah, man.
He even looks like kind of pissed off and like he don't want to be in that picture.
Buddy.
You know it wasn't hitting for him.
It was not. It's hitting for me though. Look at me.
Yeah, that was the last one, wasn't it?
No, there was like another year.
Right on. Good for you.
Tushar, what, you about to say something?
I was the other scene of the video that I loved was the scene where the boyfriend got his car stolen.
Yeah.
And it was just shot like it was the laziest way to shoot a car, because it was from far away, and then it just showed him going away. It was a single shot, and it could have been eloquent and kind of funny if they wanted, but they're like, just shoot it. They're driving away. Okay, we got it. It's a wrap.
What about those teens, though?
Those
man?
teens,
you like those teens? The teenagers that stole the car.
They were like 40.
Teeny teens they had there.
Teens.
Yeah. Yeah, although to be fair, knowing that it's like a period piece and all the stuff, all the like cinematic elements of the music video are meant to be set in like the 50s or whatever. Corey's pointed out a million times before, like in the 50s, dude, teenagers, they looked 40.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right.
people just used to look old.
Yeah, they've been smoking a decade.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, for
working
sure.
Since they were 9.
Well, all right, Tushar. A lot of times at this point, you and I or you and Trey are arguing because you've insulted our heritage and our culture. But today it seems like
it's about to come up. Hold on.
Okay, yeah.
Hold up. This might not spark anything, but I did feel like the theme of the song, which is we're on the third rock from the sun, shit happens, it's chaos. It almost is anti-religious, if you like. It is it purposeful?
Like you don't have any control?
I mean, what would another version to look at this is saying you commit sin, think bad things will happen, but this turned it into like pretty much karma, which is another way of thinking the same thing, right? So like it was just interesting that I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Knowing what we know now, that it was written by this devout Mormon, apparently, I doubt he intended that. But I actually totally hear you though, and I agree with what you're saying, because it seems like it's like presenting like there's no such thing as divine intervention or what. It's just, everything is just chaos. You know what I mean? Like we're just on our own in space, and wild shit happens, and it's chaotic, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. You know, it's like praying ain't gonna do shit.
I mean, for the record, I guess it's possible that he went to BYU and ain't a Mormon now.
No, it says on his Wikipedia page that he's Mormon.
Okay, I was about to say, because it's hard because it's like, but he hits, you know, like I don't.
They often hit, man.
It's sports.
We have talked about that before, but I want to ask just then, Tushar, this question probably hit for him generally. Is everybody at BYU a Mormon, and specifically, are the black people Mormons there? Because they did. I didn't know they had black people. Because I
thought that was like part of it.
I thought it was too. I've heard before that like they literally wouldn't let black people in until like the 80s or some shit. But also, when I think of like the whitest whites who've ever whited, like just the ultimate in whiteness,
it's them.
Mormons.
And what's the ultimate white move, bro?
So
the ultimate white move is to colonize folks various different ways, and the way they've infiltrated Pacific Islanders, Hawaii, and they've done it locally with like
because they the ones that ain't they the reason that pineapple ices hit. We get them.
I think that was the Doles, and I don't think the
The
Doles.
Doles, yeah,
I
didn't
don't
have
think the
something to do
Doles
with
are
Mormon.
Mormon. I don't think the
Oh.
Doles are Mormon, but maybe they are.
Hmm.
Do you remember that guy who played at BYU basketball getting kicked
Jimmer
off the
Fredette?
team?
Oh no,
No,
a black guy.
Yeah, it was a black guy because was living with the headline was
Oh.
he'd had sex with his girlfriend.
Yeah, I
but
do
he was
remember
living
that,
with her
actually.
was the
Yeah.
know proof that he was breaking the rules or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that guy was a Mormon.
I did not know. I knew that, like, because watching college sports, a BYU game comes on, they'll have some black players here and there, and I always wondered. I was like, so are they Mormon? Are they all Mormon? Because I had no.
His
I had
name
no
is
idea.
Brandon Davies. Let's see if he's Mormon.
How do black people get took by that particular racket? Mormon.
he's
the
Mormon.
Mormon thing.
He's a
in
Utah
particular.
I
native.
mean, I got to figure just for college, like,
Basketball.
why wouldn't you like do that? Like, you gonna go where you get drafted, I guess, or not drafted, but like recruited. But
Well, he's from Utah. He's a Utah native, so I don't know how long he's lived there, but I mean, it's a huge religion.
I didn't even know they had black people in Utah. This is a surprise to
sure.
me.
Yeah, I'm sure he's one of 18.
I'm sure they didn't want to go there either.
Right.
There it is.
I also like how the men, like all the men in the song, are just having a good old hoot and hollering time.
Hell yeah, it was the 50s.
All right,
And
before
the
we
women
Yeah,
are just in a shitstorm.
and dumb. Like they're either they are like they're either like hysterical because of a man, or they're like saying it was a UFO, and
Right.
they're like, God damn it, Sandy, that was a fucking big boy, not an alien. She's like, I know what I saw.
he was adopted by a Mormon.
Okay, well there you go. I think you got to think that, like, if we're being period accurate here, Tushar, like if knowing this song is set in the 50s, what are they gonna do? Have the women like
Talk,
hit and stuff?
contribute,
Yeah, they weren't allowed.
hit.
They weren't allowed to do none of that
no.
back then.
I'm not asking for equality. I think it's perfect the way it is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You're like,
We're
look, I
getting
wouldn't
into
change
that.
a
We're
thing.
getting into that whole. Well, what would you have Quentin Tarantino write?
Yeah.
Zero edits here. Perfect.
Yeah, it's a Mormon writing country music set in the 50s.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man, well, anybody got any parting thoughts? This is probably, I'm not gonna say it's my favorite 90s country song, because there's ones that I like that I think are genuinely great, like genuinely great songs. There's some Sammy Kershaw ones that I think are genuinely great, but this one, it's so fun. You know what we were saying? Is there anybody like him today? Yeah, 2 Chainz. Joe Diffie is the 2 Chainz of 90s country.
Two wallet chains.
Exactly. 2 chins. Fucking two.
It works. Yeah, one of my parting thoughts is just that I want to suggest, maybe not for next week, but I just want to throw out there, you just mentioned Sammy Kershaw. I would like to nominate Vidalia by Sammy Kershaw.
Absolutely, we'll be doing
I know that we've just done Sammy Kershaw, so maybe we need to, go down the road a little bit of everybody else. But I just remembered, like, goddamn, what an underrated, tremendously great story song that is. This era, man.
Well, we brought up Cocaine and Rhinestones as this being not like that, but also like that.
I'm gonna listen to that again.
We could just do the whole second season on Sammy, like he's doing with George Jones.
Yeah, that's fine.
Trey,
It's for me.
Parting words. It's for me, Joe
It's for
Diffie.
me.
Put it
Yeah.
on a t-shirt.
It's for me.
Tushar, any
My
any
closing
other?
thoughts. I like to racialize things.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was. I wish there was in the outro of the film, the guy who got his car stolen, the brother, is sitting, and the sheriff's finally getting his shit together, and he's like, "Okay, what happened here?" And the brother's like, "It was like 4 black men stole my car." And then part 2.
And then part 2 is that's the night the lights went out in Georgia.
Hilarious.
All
Oh, yeah,
right.
Tushar, you're going to have to hear that one.
Okay, I'm down. Keep them coming.
Yeah,
yeah.
baby. I can't
Hell
wait
yeah.
to see your YouTube Bollywood meets 90s country.
Bollywood meets Dollywood.
We should do a crossover at some point, or at least like a crossover segment
Yeah.
where we watch like a
bring one to you
Bollywood
guys.
clip. Yeah. And,
Yeah, I'm for that. Or like a whole movie.
I mean,
Here's the
just-
thing:
I tried
when
that. I
Tushar makes
couldn't
fun of
handle
our
it.
culture, it's hilarious. When we make fun of his, it's hilarious and racist.
Well, I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that one in particular that I've shared with all of us. Me and Tushar have talked about it.
It's
I think
awesome.
I think that just straight up fucking rules. So I'm not going to say any. If we did that one, I wouldn't
Right.
say anything.
Can we do that? I think honestly, it would be the four of us talking about the latest Bollywood hits. Y'all would hit in India. You would have a whole gathering over there.
That
Really?
rule.
Well, that would
I'd
fucking
love
I
rule,
that.
think
dude.
so. I think it'd be really fun too.
Well,
We
I mean,
gotta-
I
we gotta
kind of
get
would
past
like.
this "don't eat cows" thing, but we'll figure it out.
I'd like to go over there and hit. They put taters in their curry. I mean, I could make it a week without a cow.
I'll eat the fuck out of a goat.
Oh hell yeah, bro!
Go to
There's
it.
chicken. There's lentils.
All right.
Is chicken? Hey, is chicken tiki masala? Is that y'all?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
us.
But
Yeah.
isn't that like
Now,
the
pizza, spaghetti, is that Italian?
right? But I think isn't chicken tikka masala like I'm trying to think of a.
I thought it might have been Thai. I don't know.
Bastardized.
No, wasn't it like
Son of a
invented
bitch.
by Indians in the UK for like something that would hit over there or something? I thought, or is it like an
I
actual
don't-
traditional? You know, like Chinese food in America is like, oh,
Yeah,
that ain't
like
real.
sugar
That-
chicken ain't from China.
That's what they make to hit for these whites or whatever.
Yeah,
Well, it does hit.
Oh, it does hit,
Chicken
yeah.
tikka masala is almost like a restaurant or hotel meal. You never have it at home. You
Right,
never have
right.
it- Yeah.
Right.
So it's like
Okay,
it's just
yeah.
one of those things where there's a different version of chicken you eat, but it's rarely that version.
Well, I'm a huge fucking fan, so it makes sense that that's the whited up British version of some shit, but it's real good.
All right, this is what we're going to do next week or whenever in the next future. We'll all get the same Indian food and we'll have
Yeah.
a review of something Indian.
Hell yeah, you
Hell
got to
yeah.
pick it though.
I'll pick it. I'll run the show there.
On that note, is this thing? This happens sometimes in Thai places and always with Indian. When I say medium spice, there's either no spice. It's like they hear my accent and they're like, he says medium, but he means nothing, or they try to murder me.
No, it's not that they try to murder you. It's like, or they listened to you, turned around, and just gave the thing that's already made because they ain't making new shit for you.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I ain't hating on that. I've thought, well, maybe this is medium. I want something in between medium and nothing.
See, I just have a different tolerance for spicy stuff than you do, so that's all that explains it. But I feel the exact same way, except with hot shit. Like anytime it's like Thai or Indian or something, I like to order hot, but in my head, I'm like, because it even with hot for me, it's like they mostly sell to white people, in which case
Right.
it ain't hot at all because
Right.
white people can't handle it. Or it's like, oh, this is like hot for them, in which case, yes, it lights me on fire. You know,
Yeah, if
so.
it's hot for them, dude, I can't fucking handle that shit. But I hear you.
Yeah.
Like my spice has gone up a little bit, and I can handle a little bit of it. But like I used to go to this Indian place with my buddy Shrey Monty, as y'all remember, and I would be like, yeah, I'll take the hot, and he would look at him like, white people hot, like don't fuck this motherfucker up. You know what I mean?
Had your back.
White hot.
Why
Yeah.
not?
White hot.
All right. Well, all right, everybody. Appreciate it.
Cool. See y'all
Thanks,
next
y'all.
time.
Corey.
Yeah.
I don't expect no shit from 2005. Bubba Shot the podcast.